In our final video of the Ascension topic, Battle of Actium, we're going to look at the final showdown between Octavian and Antony and Cleopatra. The key questions for your notes are 1. What measures did Octavian take in declaring war? 2. What happened during the Battle of Actium? 3. Why did Antony and Cleopatra commit suicide? And 4. What was the significance of Octavian's victory? So in 31 BC, Octavian was elected consul, and he used this position to obtain a formal declaration of war against Cleopatra and Egypt. This was a very formal ceremony. He performed it in his role as this special priest known as the Fetialis, and so it's very important to note that this was a war against a foreign enemy. It was a war against Cleopatra and Egypt, not a civil conflict against Antony. So here's a nice diagram of the Battle of Actium. It took place in Greece. You can see in the little box on the left-hand side there whereabouts it was. So this is on the western side of Greece, closest to Italy. You can see Mark Antony's ships and forces are in blue, and then they are surrounded by Octavian's in red. So as you saw in the diagram, Antony and Cleopatra were trapped by Octavian's ships. They couldn't get out into the main body of the sea because they were being blocked by Octavian's ships. Although he had a larger fleet of larger ships, Antony struggled against Agrippa's strategic brilliance. And eventually Antony burned a great number of his ships and the rest remained engaged in battle. During this battle, as we'll see, it was sort of not decisive either way, but there came a moment when Cleopatra broke through Octavian's line and fled to Egypt. Antony followed, and the rest of his army who had been left behind surrendered to Octavian. Antony and Cleopatra fled back to Egypt, and Octavian eventually followed them there, so they were taking refuge in the palace. Both of them were reluctant to be taken alive. They knew that Antony would be executed and Cleopatra would be publicly humiliated in a triumph in Octavian's victory parade. So they both committed suicide. Antony killed himself first, and Cleopatra followed him. The children of Cleopatra and Antony were spared, and they were raised by Octavia, Antony's Roman wife and sister of Octavian. Caesarion, however, was executed because he posed a threat to Octavian if he was in fact Caesar's biological son. After his victory at Actium and the deaths of Antony and Cleopatra, Octavian then departed east to reorganize Rome's provinces. He eventually returned to Rome in 29 BC. He was aged about 33, and he was the sole and undisputed master of the Roman world. There were no other significant figures around now. He had defeated them all. He was also the owner of Egypt, which was a hugely wealthy country, so this will benefit him. And to commemorate the end of all these wars, he closed the doors of the Temple of Janus. This was a very rare symbol of peace. And he celebrated 3 triumphs for his victories. So those 3 victories were Illyricum, northern Greece, the Battle of Actium, and also Egypt.